Hello friends, my name is Ramasu. Today we shall discuss about the differences between a Scrum and traditional project management. Friend, today's topic is very interesting and very important, especially if you are a professional project manager or Scrum master and working anywhere in any organization. So this is very important to understand the differences or comparison between a Scrum framework and the traditional project management. So let's start, friend. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start. First of all, we have to understand that what is Scrum. Scrum is a framework which we use to manage or implement these software or IT projects. Okay, it is based on the concept of agile methodology, and agile means the iterative based approach in which we divide the project into smaller chunks, and which is called a sprint, and if we deliver the project into smaller chunks or sprint based approach or iterative approach. Okay, so this is the main concept of Scrum. However, on the other hand, the traditional project management means the waterfall approach in which we plan, develop, test, and then deploy. So this is the traditional project management. It is a sequential approach that we cannot go back. Like once the phase will start, we will start in a sequence. We will go in a sequence. We shall not go in the backward actually. So that is the approach of traditional project management. Now, friend. We have to we have to do the comparison between the Scrum framework and the traditional project management. First of all, the emphasize on the focus on the Scrum is on the people. Actually, people means that like Scrum team, product owner, Scrum master. So their focus, Scrum focus is on the people actually. However, the traditional or a waterfall approach is focus is on the procedures. Procedures means that we have to make a scope document, we have to make a change request document. Like if there's nothing in the scope document, we shall consider it as a change request. So basically, the main focus of waterfall is in the processes, and main focus of a Scrum is on the people actually. Documentation in a Scrum framework is very minimal. Okay, minimal means only where it is required. Like we make a product backlog, we make a sprint backlog, we make a burn down chart to show the progress remaining work actually. However, in the traditional project management or waterfall approach, the documentation is very comprehensive. Like we have to make the scope document, we have to make the risk register, we have to make the communication plan, we have to make the issue log, we have to make the detailed contracts, we have to make the probability matrix, risk and probability matrix. So many documentation are there in the traditional approach. The process cycle is iterative, and the traditional approach is linear. Iterative means like first we have to like for example, if you are implementing e-commerce solution, so what you will do in this Scrum, like you do the iterative means sprint based approach. Like you divide the project into multiple chunks. So for each iteration you will plan, develop, test, and deploy. Then for the next sprint or iteration, you will again do the plan, develop, test, and deploy. So in the same manner you deliver the complete project to the customer. However, in the traditional approach, you do the linear approach. Linear approach means that you do all the planning one time, then all the development one time, then all the testing the one time, and then deployment at a one time. So this is the linear approach. Okay, Scrum is iterative, and so waterfall is the linear approach. In the linear approach or waterfall approach, you cannot go back once you pass one phase. Like if you complete all the development, then it is not the case that you again do the development. Like after development you will start the testing. Upfront planning means that the planning at a very early stage. Okay, once the project started, so in the Scrum you don't do very upfront planning means planning at a very early stage or initial stage of a project. It is very low. However, in the waterfall approach, the upfront planning is very high. Upfront planning means that you do like for example, you start doing these estimations, you start doing communication, you start doing meetings. So the upfront planning in traditional project management is very high. Prioritization of requirements based on the business value and regularly updated. Like you are Prioritization, adaptation is more high in the scrum. Like you discuss with the product owner, product owner discuss with the customer. If customer is changing the requirement or prioritization, so we adjust the product backlog accordingly. However, in the traditional approach, like if a prioritization has been set in the scope document, like it has been signed, so you cannot change it, it will be fixed. If a customer want to change the priority, so we have to do the change request. Okay, then quality assurance is customer centric. Customer centric means that in the scrum, customer centric means that what customer is saying, we have to do it, we have to adjust, we have to adopt accordingly. However, in the traditional approach, the QA or quality assurance is process centric. Like whatever the process says, we do it accordingly. We don't actually focus or rely, we don't focus on the customer side here and the QA, we focus on the process. What process is, we will do it accordingly. Organization is self-organized in scrum. Self-organized means they are self-motivated, they are doing the scrum team, especially these, it is self-organized, they are not focused on any basically you can say any head of department or any project manager in the scrum. Actually they are self-organized, they are self-motivated, they are taking the decisions by themselves actually. So this is a very important difference. However, in the waterfall approach, it is managed means that there must be some project manager, there must be some head of department who is managing the team. So here in the project traditional approach, there is a concept of a boss. Actually boss, you can say the head of department or leader concept is there. However, in the scrum, there is no such concept of boss. Actually there is a concept of self-organized or self-motivation. Management style is decentralized here in the scrum. Decentralized means that all the power is distributed among the team members. Like a scrum team is very powerful, they have lots of you can say some, they have a very major role in the scrum team. However, the traditional approach, the power or authority management style is centralized. Centralized means only one person is there who is taking the decision. Okay, like project manager has the full power or the functional head has the full power in the traditional approach. However, in the scrum, it is not the case that there is no concept of project manager in the scrum. There is a concept of scrum master. A scrum master is a facilitator for the scrum team. So a scrum team has role, has authorities, you can say the role, product owner has a role. So the power or management is decentralized in the scrum. Change request, a change is updated to the product backlog. Change request has like for example, if you talk about a scrum, so in the scrum, the change concept is that the product owner has the major 99%, 90% the product owner is taking the decisions. Like if there is any change in the requirements, so he will update the product backlog. Okay, normally 90%. However, if there is a major change, like the major change which will impact the cost, time and other factors, so what you will do, the senior management will take the decisions and approve the change request. However, in the traditional approach or waterfall approach, there is a formal change request procedure in which the traditional or these like you have to make a change request document in which you have to mention the scope, time, cost, impact, and then it will be improved by the change control body like the CEO, CTO. So it's a very formal way in the traditional approach. The leadership style in the scrum is collaborative or servant leader. Servant leader means that servant leader concept means that a person who is basically a facilitator or coaching style. He is like for example, if we talk about scrum master, scrum master is the person who is servant leader. Servant leader means that he is a person who is facilitating the team, who is removing the bottlenecks. So he is a person who is working like a facilitator, who is working like a person who is removing the bottlenecks from the team. In the waterfall approach, the leadership style is very strong, very centralized and very command and control, means that they have a full control on the resources. Okay, so like for example, reporting head, like their appraisals, their professions, their performance appraisal, all those things are in the hand of a in the control of a project manager or a functional head. So command and control is very strong in traditional waterfall approach. The performance management is business value. In the Scrum, business value means like if there is a business value, so we will do it, or we basically measure the performance as per the business value, like how much value, business value we are getting from this task or from this product. But in the waterfall approach, the business performance management is based on plan conformity. Like what is plan is saying, so we measure the performance. Like for example, if you are completing the project in 2 weeks, okay, so this was planned in the waterfall approach or traditional approach, so we shall say that and you achieve that timeline, so you will say it is good. However, is in the Scrum it is not the concept. It is in the Scrum we shall say, we shall see that how much business value, how much revenue, how much business value we are getting from the product actually. Return on investment or ROI. In the Scrum it is based on early or throughout project's life cycle. However, in the Scrum, in the traditional approach, it is on the end of project life. See, the ROI, return on investment, means that you have investment, how much return in terms of revenue you are getting from the Scrum. See, in the Scrum what happened, that you are delivering the task in the chunks actually. Like you for example, in e-commerce solutions, you divide one phase, you develop it, plan it, and then deploy it. Okay, then the next phase you plan, develop, and test. So because Scrum is a agile based or iterative based approach, so you are getting the return on investment at a very early stage. You are giving the product to a customer at a very early stage, so that is why you are getting the revenue at a very early stage as well. However, in the traditional approach or waterfall approach, it happens that once all the things will be completed, all the project will be completed and deployed, so then you will get the revenue. Okay, if project is getting delayed, that means your return on investment, it will also be getting delayed. Customer involvement in the Scrum is very high throughout the project. Once the project is started, the customer will be involving thoroughly. He is giving his feedback. You are showcasing your work to customer. So the customer involvement from the initial level of a project, once you are starting, it's very high. However, in the traditional approach, the customer involvement, it depends. Like for example, in the phase of UAT, customer involvement become high. Like once you are doing the you are performing the user acceptance testing, so at that moment customer become involved more. Okay, however, in other stages like development and QA, customer is not so much involved. He is not giving his so much feedback in those stages. He is more involved at the level of user acceptance testing, more involved like UAT. So thank you friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks for watching the video. Thank you.